of people are talking about Governor Ventura's conspiracy TV show coming out. It is going to be airing on Truth TV, and I'm going to be interviewed for some of the episodes. So can't wait to be on TV with Jesse Ventura. Certainly fighting the New World Order, ladies and gentlemen. And we got Mike Rivero with us for 30 minutes into the next hour. We do have William that shot the footage you're seeing popping in for a couple of minutes in the next segment. Just another witness. This is nonpartisan. The people don't believe anything the government says. Here it is. The rest of it, where they're booing him.
Well, one comment that invites if you're referring to the president there, he is a citizen of the United States.
And then it goes on from there. The majority of the crowd booing. Now, Mike, after our guest leaves us, we'll talk about the birther issue, because I know you've been critical of it. We posted your articles up on Infowars.com, the WhatReallyHappened.com stories. But regardless, again, this is illustrating what you said. People aren't buying anything. If government said the sky was blue and that water was wet and that Keebler elves like cookies, people wouldn't believe it now.
And you're absolutely right. And the problem is the government has lied to the people so many times now that if there were a real, genuine emergency, the government cannot govern us because we're not going to go along. We don't dare take the risk of being made fools of again. And this is a government which is no longer effective. They've ruled us with deception and trickery so long, we don't want to fall for it any longer. If something really bad really did happen and the government tried to marshal the American people in a given direction, even for their own good, it's not going to work because they've lost the trust of the American people. And this means even in the best of intentions, this government cannot function any longer.
Well, Mike, that's my next question I want your take on. We open the phones up. I want to understand this from the listeners, from their perspective. Mexico, North Korea, just because people lose faith doesn't mean that the elites get kicked out, just the society collapses. And the elite look like they know that's going to happen, and they're just going to own the police state and be in power in their armored compounds. But this is different. Our history is different. We're armed. We have this history of freedom. This is going to be an explosive mix, Mike. I don't think we're going to end up like Mexico. I think it's going to end up being an absolute bloodbath.
Well, I tend to lean toward another direction. I agree we're not going to end up like Mexico or North Korea. We could see a revolution hopefully as fast as the one in Romania. But I really do think ultimately that we're going to see the U.S. government basically collapse the way the USSR did with very little bloodshed.
I hope so.
And I really do hope that that is our final outcome. But if there is going to be a bloody revolution, I think it'll be over as quickly as the one in Romania was.
Well, you know, the issue is the enemy has seen what they're doing. They're sociologists, they're psychologists, and they're gearing up, it seems, wanting to have a fight. And, I mean, I don't have some macho strain in me that wants to go out and go up against a bunch of tough guys who are into that, because I know it's going to happen to me and them. I don't know if the tough guys realize this, that fighting people on the right is not like chasing some bank robbers around or going after some meth heads. And when they start trying to break up families and send people to camps, I would not want to be the FBI HRT. I would not want to be the local military. I mean, history actually shows that a highly armed guerrilla force will just smash them.
Well, I'd like to respond to that. First of all, if we let the government decide when a violent confrontation is going to take place, we will lose it because the government is going to basically control the high ground and they're going to control the decision-making. But in the end, we, the American people, don't need to march into Washington, D.C. to defeat the federal government, because along with all of that incredible debt, we've got all this foreign investment here in the United States that stays here only because the government has convinced investors it's safe here. So all a revolution has to do to win, they don't have to conquer, they just have to survive, the way Castro did in Cuba.
I just want them to get off our back. I mean, they've got us here. They've got us cornered, attacking us. Ron Paul was on with us last week. He's on with us for 30 minutes tomorrow. So is Steve Quayle for 2 hours on the flu. A bunch of other medical doctors coming on as well tomorrow and the next day to discuss it. Ron Paul's a medical doctor as well. We're going to call him William. He put up the Castle video. That's the Spectre video. I told the guys to put the Spectre up, but I'm wrong, guys. Go ahead and put the Castle video back up. This is Congressman Castle at a town hall meeting in Delaware. This was a bipartisan crowd, and the issue is Tea parties, Republicans, Democrats get booed off the stage. Governor Rick Perry, Senator Cornyn. We're going to play those videos coming up to illustrate that this is bipartisan being booed off the stage. And people are now trying to say this was staged with Castle. So we've got the radio listener of this show, William, on. And William, I would challenge you to just put more of the raw video up to show it's other people in the crowd booing on other issues. Why do you think the establishment is so desperate to make it look like the majority of Americans aren't upset?
Well, that's the game they've been playing for the longest time now, haven't they, Alex? I mean, they're stuck on the same game plan, and you cannot stop the waking giant.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, the giant has just now started having its morning cup of coffee. And just a few minutes ago, politically, a few years ago in the time frame, he was getting out of bed and shaking his head and getting a cold drink of water. I mean, I don't think they can reverse this. But in a nutshell, some people are saying this was staged as well. Where were you? How many people in the crowd? What percentage would you say were upset with him?
I would say 95% of the people in that crowd were upset with him before they even got there. Let's remember that that town hall took place 3 days after his vote for cap and trade, and 3/4 of the people in the crowd were seniors. I would say at least 60% were seniors, and they were there on top of not only the cap and trade, but also this was supposed to be on health care, and there wasn't anybody representing the insurance company. They had all these talking heads up there from all these different agencies, but no one from the insurance, and it's just you can hear throughout the video. You can find it on my YouTube channel, William Dawes in Delaware, of them talking about every subject. Every subject that man gets booed down. Not only the birther thing, that was just a video that took off. He was booed down on cap and trade. He was booed down on the health care. They're questioning him in other footage. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, listen, Mike, I know I forgot we gave you the UPS number. Sometimes UPS won't let people put numbers down like FedEx. Just mail me a dub of the tapes. And because I want to put it in the Obama film, I also want to just go ahead and put it out and show people what you told me is true, that it was every issue, because this is key. It means the government's losing all confidence. This is happening at every major event, and the establishment's corruption is really showing through here. So let me pay you $100 or whatever for your cost of dubbing it and sending it.
Alex, I would never take a dime from you.
Okay, well...
I would not have it. I will send it.
Thank you. Just send it as fast as you can. I want to hold you over, but I want to get a comment from Mike Rivero right now. Mike, you heard him. They're booing him on no matter what it is. They hate his guts. What is happening, Mike?
What is happening is the American people are just sick of the entire system. It's no longer a question of whether you favor one side or the other or one policy or another. People are just tired of the whole thing. It's like buying a computer with a really cruddy operating system. You get sick and tired of looking at all the little problems you got to fix and finally say, okay, it's time to throw the whole thing in the trash and switch over to another brand. It's exactly what's going on here. The American people are tired of the government as a whole.
We did that with Vista. Got rid of like 10 computers. It's worthless. We actually found some company sells new boxes with the old operating system. What's the one before Vista? Bill? XP? I know nothing about computers. I just know I've done the exact thing. It's just they are pieces of crap. Okay, we'll be right back with Mike Rivero and William joining us from Delaware. The whole facade is collapsing.